Hello, Kansas City and the KUAW listeners. This is Professor Smooth Jazz of KUAW with the Smooth Jazz Show. You can catch me on KUAW every Thursday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., and the same show again for those staying up late, Friday, 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. But we're here with a distinguished guest for this KUAW interview with one of the world's best kept secrets, according to his webpage, guitarist, songwriter, arranger, producer, and vocalist, whose music underlines a deep spiritual connection, providing a foundation of personal touch with heavenly appeal. Guitarist D. Brown. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing fantastic here.
So do you now? Where you be from? Where you be from?
I'm from the great city known as Motor City, Detroit, Michigan. That's where I'm at.
That's where all the R&B musicians. Everybody is that. So hold on here. Is that how you know Alexander?
Alexander's. Yeah, he's
player.
here. Alexander's
the flute player. Yeah, because he got that song called Motor City. What's that thing? Motor City Swag or something like that. Motor City something. Yeah. I thought about that. I said, oh man, okay. Oh, I get it now. All right. So D, tell us about how you started music or your interest in instruments. Did it start with instruments or did it start?
Okay. Well, you ask a very interesting question. How did I really start out in music? Okay, well, this is a long story, and I like to give honor to my father, George Sonny Brown, that was his name. And he was the one who really introduced me to music. So back in the day, I'm talking about when I was about 2 or 3 years old, my father, he actually was a musician. He played drums. And at the time, Motown was like really striving, he really didn't have a chance to pursue a musical career because he had children that he had to take care of. So his big thing was jazz. I mean, he loved jazz. He loved jazz from the greats, like Tommy Flanagan, Cannonball Adderley, Charlie Parker, Miles Davis, Monk. I mean, he liked that kind of music. He played it all day and all night. As a kid, that's what I was listening to. He would have his friends over there, and of course, they get the little sip going on, and they all hollering and everything, screaming. Oh, well, I'm like, what is going on? And me, but all music, it's no singing at all. So I was hearing a lot of horns and that kind of stuff. And then I heard a special instrument. I'm like, Dad, what instrument is that? He said, son, that's a guitar. I said, Dad, that's the instrument I want to play. I want to play guitar. He says, he laughed. Okay, yeah, for sure you do. And the guitar that I actually heard was a guitarist by the name of Wes Montgomery. Probably one of the greatest jazz guitarists ever. And along the lines of the other artists I listened to or that he played for me was Charlie Christian and Django Reinhardt. I mean, some fabulous musicians, Jim Hall, those kind of guitarists. And I really like the jazz music. So I really got into jazz. My mother, on the other hand, she was a Motown lover. All the Motown hits from Marvin Gaye, the Marvelettes, Diana Ross and the Supremes, the Temptations, the Top Four Tops, all that music. Did I say Stevie Wonder? I got to put Stevie in there because his birthday just passed. He's like 71 years old. So I heard all that kind of music. So I had a combination of a lot of the vocal music and a lot of instrumental. And as I grew up, of course, I started singing. That was my thing. Everybody wanted to sing. So I was singing in the glee clubs and those sort of things at school and, singing with the other guys and everything. And then I started playing the guitar a little bit more. I saw a guy by the name of B.B. King. I don't know if you ever heard of B.B. King.
Oh, yeah. No, B.B. King.
Blues, man. And as I was playing my guitar, I was wondering why I wasn't getting better at it, But B.B. King said something. One day I was, young kid, I don't know, man, about 10, 11 years old, maybe 12. And he came on a show called, what was the show called? It was a late night show. I can't remember the name of the show. It's still late. It still comes on every night. But
midnight,
anyway,
some midnights, what, like midnight
no,
specials?
it was a show where you would go in and talk.
Oh,
You know,
oh, okay.
the Tonight Show. Was it the Tonight Show?
The
That was
Tonight
it.
Show. Oh, okay, Tonight Show. Yeah.
And he came on there and he was talking to the host, and he told him that he practiced every day. And that's how he stays good. So when I heard that, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't practice every day. Maybe that's why I'm not good yet. So he really instilled that into me. And I started listening to, you know, the blues players, and I got into the rock and roll, of course. And then I came all the way back from rock and roll to R&B to the fusion jazz, all the way back to jazz and into smooth jazz. So that's what I'm doing right now, smooth jazz. So that's really the thing about music. You know, I really like, you know, the vocal music, and my approach to the guitar is vocal all the time. So when I'm playing, I'm always singing in my mind. Sometimes, you know, I get a lot of notes because, you know, singers don't sing a lot of notes. They just sing a lot of melody kind of stuff. But, you know, as a guitar player, we can play a whole bunch of notes and not take a breath. But I'm usually trying to, you know, vocalize and make sense with all the things I'm playing. I'm trying to do that. I may not do it, but that's my effort.
Okay. So at what age did you kind of switch over to the smooth jazz or contemporary?
Well, you know, I didn't really
where you wanted to do it professionally.
Professionally. Well, I was actually singing at the time. I had a group out, you know, the group Jodeci and Boyz II Men and things where I like that. And I still play guitar, but I was a stand-up singer. The group that I was in was called One Wish. You know, you guys on YouTube and all that kind of stuff, you go to put in One Wish, I feel like getting romantic, and you'll see me up there standing up playing without my guitar, you know, just singing. But I love that. I enjoyed it. We had a top 100 song called Tell Me Why. And my mother, you know, she told me, well, Dee, when are you going to start playing guitar again? At that time, at the end of that era of all the kind of boy groups kind of thing, I decided, well, I should do something a little bit different. And I was listening to smooth jazz, and smooth jazz really came on the scene heavy. So I figured, well, you know, I think I can do that. Let me give it a shot. You know, so that was right around 2007 that I started doing the smooth jazz. So it's been quite a while now.
So were you kind of the self-taught musician, or more like you learned from lessons?
Well, when I first started out and I got my very first guitar, which was given to me by my grandmother on a Christmas, I started taking lessons. And I took lessons for a while. And then as I continued, I took lessons from several different, you know, musicians around. Also, I went to college and I studied like flamenco guitar and jazz guitar and songwriting and orchestra writing. So I guess I'm in a way self-taught, and you know, I've been taught in an institution as well, kind of combination of both.
Okay, so you got what to say, the both the best worlds. So now you know the first, I have all your CDs. So before I start working with Adam, and when you start working with Adam, but I remember I had 2 of your CDs before, and then once I saw you when you were working with Adam, I was like, oh man, D Brown, yeah, I remember D Brown because I had those, and I think that first CD was what, 2007 or something like that.
2007. It was 2007, 2006. No Time to Waste.
Yeah. So, and I was trying to remember, and so when I bought that CD and I listened to it, and so I said, oh man, I really like this. So then I saw you had another CD. And Mr. George, hold on, Mr. George.
Difficult.
I don't know if he can hear me. Yeah, I think he did. Yeah. So after, you know, and so I said, oh man, I'm gonna follow this guy whenever he gets CDs because I like his music, you know. Now it says that one time you had a song called Reunited.
Yes.
On that 2007.
Yes. Reunite was my very first song released in smooth jazz. You know, a long story behind that album. You know, we were talking about transitioning from, you know, vocal music or R&B into the smooth jazz. I decided at that point that I was going to start my own record label and, you know, put funding behind the music and everything. And at the time that I did that, I wasn't sure, if it was going to take off. But you have a dream and you have a focus and you're trying. So I put the song out, and it went up into like the top 10, top 5. And then I was approached by a company called New Groove. At the time, it was one of the hottest smooth jazz labels, and I signed on to New Groove. And then they took the record and they promoted it. So I think we had a couple singles off there, a song called El Spaniel. I did, and that was the only song that I've ever recorded with acoustic guitar, and the acoustic guitar was done as the lead. I brought in another producer by the name of Gerald Mitchell, and he was the producer of Los Hermanos, which is that kind of music, that dance type of music. That dance is the doom bash doom bash doom bash do, everything kind of goes like that. I brought him in because I wanted to add some flair to it and put a little different spin. So when you listen to that album, you'll hear some of the elements of dance music, and El Spaniel had that dance music kind of elements in there too. Really strong backbeat, nice strong bass, and of course I had the acoustic guitar playing the leads. It was really, really, really nice song, I thought. Really nice.
Now, you can listen to some of your selections because they have a significant meaning, like a little elbow. Was it Little Elbow Room?
Yeah, but Little Elbow Room. That was the second album that I released with New Groove. At the time I released that album, the record company was going through some issues with business of some sort, and the first tune that came out was a song called True Reality. I recorded that song with Darren Ron and Nate Harrison. We were considered the young guys in smooth jazz, and the president of the label, who was David Shackler, he asked me to do a song with those guys, and I said, sure, I'll do it. So we did the song True Reality. True Reality, I thought, was a very strong song. It came out and it was doing excellent on radio, and then the carpet was pulled from underneath our feet. Everything was kind of like crashed down. I think they had some issues with business, and the whole thing kind of shut down at that point. But it was a shame because that was such a great song. Really good. So after that, I moved on to Innovisions. I went to them. We signed with them, and we've been with them since I think 2014.
Yeah, man, you got a lot of like one of the musicians from here, a bass player. Blair Bryant. He's and he's from Kansas City. So him and Julian Bond, and that's what we brag about. But there's this senator over in Kansas, and so right across. You've been to Kansas City?
Never.
Yeah. Never. So we got Kansas City, and then there's the Kansas Missouri River. You go across what we call the viaduct. There's Kansas City, Kansas. So some people get mixed Kansas City, Kansas with Kansas City, Missouri, but Kansas City, Kansas is part of Kansas and we're part of Missouri, but they're right next to each other. But Norman Brown was playing over in Kansas City, Kansas. So sometimes I'll mess with him and say, is Norman Brown from Kansas City? He said, man, you guys, Kansas City, you're always trying to take our jazz musicians and take our talent and say they from Kansas City. Yeah, but Norman Brown is from just right over Kansas City, Kansas. Yeah, that's where he's from. Yeah.
Norman Brown is like one of the musicians that actually inspired me to do smooth jazz. In the very beginning. And of course, Blair Bryant, man, he is just an awesome musician. I love Bryant. Matter of fact, I like his playing so much that on my new album, nobody really noticed. Like I haven't really told anyone this, but on my new album, which is entitled Deep Secrets, scheduled to come out, real soon. I think like closer to the end of the year. He's playing on the title cut, which is Deep Secret. And he showed out. He played the bass line to it, and he played the lead bass to it. Oh man, he laid that song out, man. Excellent musician, excellent person. He deserved all the accolades, and I wish him the best.
He played about 14 instruments.
He played. He played.
Yeah. So that's what they label. They say that's Stanley Clark. And Julian is Wayman Teasdale. that's what they have him labeled as. But yeah, I saw him play one day, and I said, "Well, I see why they call him Stanley Clark when he was playing."
Man, he's a bad dude, man. he knows his way around that fretboard.
Yeah,
and he has a lot of agility, and he has great timing.
Yeah,
excellent musician. Excellent.
And
Yeah.
so, man, but there's this other song, and man, I just used to love this song, man, because Honeycomb, Honeycomb.
Oh,
Oh man, and it just, with your music, it man, you just can't sit there. I mean, just try to sit there, but you're gonna pat feet or do, what I'm saying?
go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, you just can't sit there. But I was looking at it on their website and it said that Proverbs 27:7, and you
Right.
had that wrote down there. A satisfying soul loathes the honeycomb, but to a hungry soul, every bitter thing is sweet.
Yeah. Yep, that is it. That's what really inspired me to write the Honeycomb and call it that. Um, and of course, it's all inspired, by the word.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look into the honeycomb origin and kind of like what I came up with it, it
Mm-hmm.
had to do with Jesus when he died
Mm-hmm.
or he transitioned, and
Mm-hmm.
he was down for 3 days and then he rose back up. The
Yeah.
first thing he did was eat, and then
Oh.
after he ate, he had
Mm-hmm.
honeycomb. So that's
Mm-hmm.
where the honeycomb uh, title came from. And of course, the scripture which substantiate what it's really
Mm-hmm.
all about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So a lot of your music, you had one called "Remembering You." I
Hmm.
know you had some selections, but that were my favorites, and I was kind of looking to see where that
Yep.
inspired or where you got the title idea and things like that.
And Honeycomb was actually written by a gentleman by the name of Chip Dixon. He's from Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
He's a producer. He's worked with Fred Hammond. Fred Hammond's
Yeah,
from
yeah, 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 yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
worked with William Murphy Jr.
Uh-huh, yeah, yeah.
and Darkchild as well. I mean, he's a
Mm-hmm.
fantastic musician, fantastic songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those multi instrumentalists as well, and he
Mm-hmm.
including singing. So
Mm-hmm.
don't hold back to singing too. And
Yeah.
he's really a fantastic musician. I met him on a church scene,
Mm-hmm.
and we were playing at his church. So
Mm-hmm.
all the musicians get up there and they're playing. We're playing with
Yeah.
them. It's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Can you turn down a little bit?" I'm like, "Wait a minute, who was this guy telling me to turn down?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I to myself, I'm like, "Wait a minute, this guy must be really, really, really something special." So I had a
Mm-hmm.
chance to meet him, and I told him, about I was doing an album and that kind of thing. He says, "Oh man, you're in the brotherhood, man. You need anything from me? Hey, you just give me a call." And one of the songs that we did was Honeycomb. Yeah. So
Okay. Now this new single,
yeah.
uh, you got "Love You Too." Is there what inspired that? Or,
Well, you know what? The truth is, as you know, remembering you, I lost my fiance.
mm-hmm.
We were engaged to be married, and
Mm-hmm.
she transitioned to heaven early.
Mm-hmm.
As I was going through that, I met another woman of God, and I
Mm-hmm.
got married in 2018. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
good news.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I was kind of worried about you for a while because I knew that kind
Yeah.
of wrote on there, so I was wondering how you were doing and everything. But you know, and you're still writing music, so.
Still write music, and that whole album was dedicated to our relationship together.
Mhm.
This song, "Love You Too," has a lot to do with my situation I'm in right now with my wife, and whenever we say uh, goodbye to each other or we write texts and those sort of things, she
Mhm.
says "I love you," and my response is "Love you too." So
Mhm.
it's like a response to what it is we say to each other,
Mhm.
and I was really hoping that people would say, "Hey, I love the song," and I say "I love you too."
Mhm. Yeah.
That's what I want to respond to. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But you with the times and COVID and everything,
Mhm.
whatever you need to say, whatever you need to do, is just another sign to say you need to go ahead and do that because
Yeah.
nothing's guaranteed.
Right.
We know that nothing's guaranteed, but
Yep.
a lot of people, you know, those numbers, we don't know exactly what all those numbers for people that have passed away. So
Right.
whatever you need to do, it says that the days are getting shorter. No one knows what day is going to happen,
That's right.
but you have to take into account it's going to happen in a minute, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So if you holding something back and you need to tell somebody something, know,
You need to go ahead and tell them now.
this positive, or, you know.
Yep, you know, it seems like it's going back to my very first album, No Time to Waste, you know.
Oh, yeah. That's right. No time to
You
waste.
got to get in there and do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So is there any other news that you would like to tell our listeners? Anything you'd like to share? And before you leave, make sure you give us the information where you can be reached, or where you can hear your music, and you know, things like that.
Well, you know, the new single that's out right now, it's called I Love You Too. It's on Intervision Records. It is a worldwide release. And of course, it's on all platforms. Anywhere that you can find MP3s or purchase music, that music is available. And I like to let everybody know out there, you know, we're talking about no time to waste. We're talking about doing things that you really want to do now instead of waiting till later. I just want to remind people that this is the music business, and business means there's got to be some kind of funding somewhere, transfer. So I invite all to come to my website at D Brown Music. That's DEEBROWN music.com, and look around. Now, there you can find all my social media contacts. We're with Facebook, we're with Twitter, we're with all of them. They're right there. And if you find a song or even an album or music that you love, I invite you, encourage you to purchase away. And of course, if you'd like to send me an email or anything like that, you can go to my Facebook or something like that, or you can email me right there on the website. The website again is dbrownmusic.com. That's DEEBROWN music.com. There you can start and find everything that's going on with me. And there's also another page on there that's there for events and concerts and those sort of things. And it's going to be updated pretty soon, because we're coming with some concerts and some performances, and we may be coming to your city, including Kansas City, you know. But we'll see how things go with that. We're hoping the best, you know, with this COVID thing. And, you know, they're trying to drop the mandate for wearing masks and those sort of things. And, you know, we're praying that, you know, that doesn't backfire on us in any kind of way.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to interview you, and for you to share some of your experiences and let others know what a great guitarist you are, and to check you out, man. Because I'm telling you, okay, you can sit there if you want, man. You can sit there and say, "Oh, Mr. Coates said." Professor Smooth Jazz said, "I'm gonna be moving," but I'm gonna tell you before that song ends, I see what he's talking about.
Yeah, you know, it's all because you know, it is a collaboration. Music and creating music is a collaboration. I want to throw a shout out there to my main man, Valdez Brantley. He is a Grammy nominated producer, and we wrote just about, I think we wrote maybe 10, 20 songs on all three albums, on the last three albums that I've done. And also my good friend Desi McCullers Jr., who is of course the brother of Althea Renee, the great flutist from Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's an awesome player, and he should be coming out with some of his own, you know, very, very soon. And shout out to Ron Otis, drummer from Detroit, played with Franklin. He got some product out as well. And Merlon Devine, who's the great saxophonist, who is our upcoming album. I think we did a couple songs together with him. Also, bassist Durrell Williams. I'm sure you heard of him. He's up and coming album. And also drummer Tony Moore. So we got some things really happening. And my favorite singer of all, Mr. Gerard Brooks, who was a part of this album. My first album, No Time to Waste, he did a lot of lead singing in there and a little background too. On this one, he's going to lay out something to you guys that you're not going to ever forget. It's going to be absolutely marvelous. You got to check it out, but it's coming to you soon. The new album is entitled Deep Secrets. Visit my website at dbrown music, DEEBROWN music.com. And also be my friend on Facebook and Twitter and Lime and all those spaces, Instagram, all that stuff. Great hearing from you. And thanks so much for having me on your show.
Yeah, and I was going to also tell you, Mr. Walker, he's got that old school R&B. He's DJ Scatter. So you get to hear Mr. Walker playing Shy-Lights, and man, he's playing all the Temptations, all that stuff, man.
Oh, I love that stuff. Yeah,
he played this one song, Gene Chandler. He played. What was that song? Gene Chandler's song, man. He was playing it out. I was like, oh man, I remember that song. I had to be 7th grade or something like that. But when you see Kim, tell her that the Professor Smooth Jazz been good. And she gonna watch. She gonna when you see Kim, tell her.
I'll do that. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for the prayers.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye now.